Hey, do you guys mind if I talk a little bit about coronavirus? I mean, I kind of have to, right? Okay, if you insist. Look, viruses are invisible. You know what else is invisible? Fairies. Raise your hand if you've ever seen a fairy. That's right. No one's raising their hand. That's because in every pandemic from the last 150 years, there were fairies involved. For instance, in July of 1917, the world first saw photos of the famous cottonleaf fairies. By January of the following year, the Spanish flu began in that legendary region of Spain known as Fort Riley, Kansas. I love their Riojas. Anyway, 50 million people died. March 1956, the Fairy Delta II becomes the first aircraft to fly more than 1,000 miles per hour. By 1957, the Asian H2N2 influenza killed 2 million people. In 1968, the H3N2 Hong Kong influenza killed 1 million people. What occurred just 2 years prior? I hardly think I even need to say, but yeah, the Mothman, a large winged beast, appeared in West Virginia to warn of impending disasters. And of course, in 2019, we all remember that a winged angel was seen floating over Brazil. By the end of that year, coronavirus. I don't know how much more obvious I can make all of this to you. These are all fairies, and all of them preceded deadly global pandemics. We are at war, and we don't even know it. We must destroy the fairy people. If you think that theory is stupid, maybe you would prefer this one from Dr. Thomas Cowan, MD. You know, if somebody uses both the doctor and the MD in their title, they are definitely worth listening to. Especially when they're speaking at an event as illustrious as the Health and Human Rights Summit in Tucson, Arizona, which, despite being about health and human rights, occurred on March 12th in person while we were in the middle of a pandemic. Cowan spoke alongside other luminaries such as Dr. Andrew Wakefield, who apparently is still going by doctor despite the fact that he has been completely discredited and barred from practicing medicine due to gross ethics violations that led to way too many people believing falsely that vaccines cause autism. You know, vaccines, the thing we're all desperately hoping doctors develop to save us from coronavirus. So yeah, it's great to see Wakefield is still getting booked. But back to Dr. Thomas Cowan, MD. His lecture is on YouTube, and despite the fact that YouTube has demonetized most of my videos for just mentioning coronavirus, and despite their promise to stop the spread of misinformation on their platform, this video has, as of this recording, 677,000 views, and has spawned a fun, newish conspiracy theory that coronavirus comes from 5G. Cohen and his fellow travelers like David Icke, who literally believes that the world is run by actual shape-shifting reptiles, believe that pandemics correlate to various upgrades in the world's electrical grid, 3G, 4G, 5G, and, for the Spanish flu, radio waves. Yes, radio waves, which apparently, according to these people, emerged in 1916. I have no idea where they got that number, but the first radio program was actually broadcast in 1906, and Marconi got his patent for the telegraph back in 1896. But sure, Jan, whatever you say. So really, there isn't even a correlation, but even if there was, say it with me, friends, correlation does not equal causation. Fairies aren't causing pandemics, and neither are radio waves, and neither is 5G. Like I said in a video back in 2016 and again in 2018, cell phone networks also don't cause cancer. There is no good evidence to support the idea that non-ionizing radiation does anything to the human body other than maybe cause a little heat, which is just one reason why you probably shouldn't press your naked body up against a cell phone tower, I guess. That's not to say that 5G isn't without its downsides. For one, NASA and NOAA point out that the launch of a new network will broadcast in a frequency way too close to that of their satellites, causing bleed over, which might screw up weather reporting. And really, they don't need more people complaining about inaccurate weather reports. These are the people who already have to hear, whatever happened to global warming every time it snows in Minnesota. Another problem with 5G is the lack of cybersecurity, or as it's known in 2020, security. As the US races to compete with China to set up a decent 5G network, there are experts who worry that we are forgetting to make it so that even technologically illiterate people can access the frequent software upgrades that this is going to require without compromising their privacy. We need to make sure that the network we build isn't just first, but is safest. Safe for our data, that is, not for our lungs. Because I'm sorry, as scary as it is, this virus did not come from radio waves. It came from nature, and it's having a devastating effect on humanity because of a lack of preparedness, because we elected a bunch of morons, like absolute pieces of shit moronic assholes. The key to preventing this in the future is not to make up new conspiracy theories about our technology, but to listen to experts and put people in charge who will listen to experts. In other words, stay home, wash your hands, and if you can do so safely, please vote.